everybody. What's up, and welcome to another edition of Everyday Nietzsche. Yeah, I mean, today's gonna be pretty awesome. I'm really excited about today because you guys know that I have this series called I'm a Boss, right? Well, how can you be a boss if you don't have any clue about what's going on with your money? So for those who do not know me, I'm Nietzsche. I'm a social media expert, marketing guru, clothing designer, editor-in-chief of a magazine, and most recently, a t-shirt designer. Yeah, so I need y'all to go ahead and get used to it because I'm probably going to be wearing this t-shirt in a few of my videos. Why? Because that's what business owners do. They rep their own stuff. They rock their own gear because, you know, that's what we do. So this is the No Fear Off a t-shirt. You can grab this over at www.nietzschemade.com. And I just want to tell you guys, thank you, because you wiped us out of the last shipment of these that we had. And so now we are back into the mode. And because we've added new colors. I have on the dark gray. You can get that on the website. But we've added navy blue, we've added pink, and we've also added black. And we might add the white, this other white shirt. So, but you guys can see all of that at www.nietzsche.com. So don't say nothing in the comments if you see me with this same shirt on in future videos, because I'm going to be rocking it because it's my brand and because that's what we do. That's what bosses do, right? Okay, so today we're going to have a conversation about your money. There's a lot that has happened with COVID-19. There's a lot that has happened with unemployment, with funding, with lack of funding, taxes, payroll taxes, loans, grants, everything. So much has happened. And I shared with you guys that for the month of August, I was going to do Money Monday, every Monday, bringing in experts to walk us through what can be done with our money. Honestly, I think that this year, when it came time to get grants and loans and when money kind of started getting crazy, I think that we all kind of had to take another look at how we were handling our money, what we were doing with our money, what we were doing with our taxes, how we were doing payroll, how we were doing Social Security. Did we have all of our paperwork set up? A lot of people did not even apply for financial support because they didn't feel that they had their paperwork together. So my goal for the month of August, because I had to take a screenshot of my own stuff, you know, and take a look and see if I was doing everything I was supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? So I want you guys to go ahead, drop some comments in the comments section. If you have a question, or if you have a comment or an idea or a thought about the finances, the conversation tonight is we're going to be breaking down what you need to do concerning your taxes so that you can be prepared for 2020. We don't know where we're going to find ourselves at with this whole global pandemic situation in the next couple of months. We don't know what we're going to need to apply for, what that means for our money. So I'm hoping that these conversations that we have on Mondays help to give you some insight and kind of give you a way to kind of have this conversation without feeling, you know, bad about it, because it's all right. We all have to take a snapshot of what we were looking at. So my friend, Nicole Kirkland-Freeman is here. She is a finance expert and accountant. I mean, when she jumps in, I mean, everything just gets taken care of. So, you know, so I want you all to welcome my friend, Nicole Kirkland-Freeman, to Everyday Nietzsche. I'm gonna call this one today, though, Everyday Nietzsche / I'm a Boss, because I just feel like, you know, there's boss information that needs to be heard tonight. So Nicole, welcome to Everyday Nietzsche. Again, you are no stranger to this platform, and every time you come on, you always give us a lot of insight and a lot of wisdom, and I'm excited to have you here tonight.
Thank you so much, Nietzsche.
So what I was saying earlier is that we found ourselves in a place where we are coming up on tax time. You know, even though this is the month of August, I think that one of the things that I'm hoping that we don't do this year is wait until the last minute. Right. Fam, there's so much that could be happening in a couple of months that we just don't know. But there's some things that we can kind of put into place now so that our taxes are situated and on point for 2021 and beyond. So Nicole, kind of, you know, I'm going to fire some questions at you in just a little bit, but kind of just give me an overview just of what we can do for our taxes as a whole to make sure that we have things together.
Okay, so this is actually the perfect time to start getting ready for tax season. So don't panic, just kind of get things in order. So what I've listed is like, so the main goal you want to focus on is getting your income streams together and your expenses together. And when I say income streams, people are using Square, they're using PayPal, they're using Cash App. It's all good. Use all that, but make sure that the money is coming back to your account. Okay. Yeah. Some people leave money in PayPal, Cash App. You want the monies to be moved back to your bank account so that life is easy for you at the end. And when I say that, I mean, so if you have your
Guys, I'm sorry that background changed. Sorry about that. Technical
okay.
difficulties.
I thought you was boosting it up for us. Okay.
This
Okay.
is real life TV, y'all. I mean, come on. Come
Yeah.
on. All right, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. Um, so in terms of expenses, the key to this is if you run everything through your bank statement, right? All the income comes there. You're using your expenses. You're using that debit card. You're using checks. You're using anything that hits that bank statement. All you got to do at the end of the year is give that tax return to all 12 months to your tax preparer, right? And they can knock it out for you. That's the easiest way to do it. You don't have to worry about getting a bunch of receipts together. The tax person will love you as well, right? So that's what I would say focus on is getting your receipts together, making sure that from now until December, you're using that bank account, right, to take care of everything.
Because
So
we are, especially those who kind of qualify underneath the gig worker scenario, they
yeah,
have 1099s and things like that. There's a lot of electronic send versus bank account
exactly.
scenarios that happen. And so what about if Cash App, Square, Venmo, things like that are being used? What are the best practices to move that money over to a bank account, or should we be keeping PayPal totally separate and using expenses and have an expense report there?
So this is the thing. So if all the income, even from different income streams like PayPal, Square, and all that, if it's all for the same business, right? The main goal is to have all those monies hit your business bank account. And PayPal has the option to move funds over. Cash App, you can move your funds over as soon as they hit the account. So it's just a matter of hitting that button to move it over.
And
That makes
so
sense?
that's what we should do,
Oh,
is move
definitely.
the money over.
Yeah, yeah,
Not so you're saying for those of us family that have PayPal, it's easy just to make a transaction out of PayPal and think
yeah,
nothing of it. But you're
yeah.
saying that's really not a good idea.
It's not, because you want to centralize your information, right?
Hmm.
And if you're ever audited, you want to be able to show your bank statement where all this came from. You don't have to pull PayPal, pull Cash App, and you got all kind of personal expenses all combined in there. You know what I mean? So it's
Hmm.
just about solidifying and separating your personal from your business, first of all, right? And then just giving it a centralized place to house everything for easy reporting purposes.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of organizing yourself. It really is. You just have to get used to it. Now, if you've done that in the past, where you've been using PayPal, you've been using Cash App for your transactions, you can still get a report from that system. It's not a dead end thing if you've been using that. What I'm saying is from now to December, let's do something different, a little, a little more easier for you at tax time.
Yeah, because I go back to this. I think one of the reasons why many people did not apply for funding and things like that was because things were not central, things
Mm-hmm.
could not be proven.
Mm-hmm.
And not just because of COVID, obviously that's what we're in right now, but we're talking about beyond, especially those of us who are business owners, or those who have more than one business or more than one thing. What she's
Yeah.
saying is to keep that information central, clean, and clear. One thing that we've talked about, Nicole, is the benefit to having that in the bank account also is because of the QuickBooks file or Quicken file or whatever accounting software that you're using.
Yeah.
It makes that process easy as well. And for your accountant.
Yeah, because the banks can sync over now to all those accounting systems. So it's just a matter of your bank account information syncing over into that accounting system and you applying it to where it needs to go. It's a beautiful thing if you use it appropriately. But I want to speak to what you just said about the financial statements and not being prepared. So during tax season, I had to literally stop doing taxes for a period of time from March until I would say beginning of April, just doing financial statements for clients that needed to apply for funding. They were just not prepared. So if the second round does come, my advice is to get those taxes filed for 2019 if you haven't, and at least get your 2020 year-to-date financials prepared.
Can people still file their 2019 taxes right now?
Yes, you can still file if you didn't extend, you can still file, and if you owe a balance, you may get some interest and penalties. But if you did extend it, you have until October 15th to file.
Okay. Let's
Mm-hmm.
go to we have this question or comment or statement every time I go live with Money Mondays, and that is about these here stimulus checks.
Yes.
I mean, what's really going on with the stimulus checks? Those who have not received the first set, is there an update? The second set, are they coming? Are they not? If they didn't get the first set, are they
Mm-hmm.
not going to get the first set of stimulus checks? Give us an update.
Okay. Well, the IRS, you have to remember, is just a business just like any other. So COVID did affect them as well. So they did have some closings. Okay. So I think they opened back up their office officially sometime in April. So they are playing catch up with stimulus checks. Let's just be clear on that. I know that there's a situation now where a lot of families did not get that $500 additional monies for their dependents. So they've opened that up from August until October for people to go on to the Get Your Money tool, right, and put in the information to have those monies sent to them. So there's a lot of mistakes that have taken place with the IRS. There's a delay in getting the funds out. They expect this to ride out until October. So if you filed your
Wow.
taxes for 2018, 2019, you're in the system, right? If you weren't required to file, they have a tool that you can go to as well. But even if you've already done that process and still not gotten it, you're in the system. It's just a wait game.
So
Okay.
did you have to have 2018 and 2019 or
No,
just 2019 filed?
you had to have one or the other or both.
Okay.
If you had 2018 only, they're going to use that to base the amount of money you get. And if you had 2019, by the time they processed your payment, they would go by 2019.
Family, I mean, does that give you a little bit of ease? I mean, not really though, right? Because the
I
simple
know
fact is,
we are way too.
I don't know if that eased the people at all, because the simple fact is when you look around, you see everybody else getting money or getting stimulus checks and you don't
Yeah.
have yours. You
Yeah.
know, you start feeling some kind of way, but at least, family, the whole goal of the conversation tonight is to at least make sure that we are informed on every level. The more information that we have, the more we can do. Okay, let's talk about how to even track our COVID expenses. Should we be tracking that differently? What should we be doing with any COVID expenses?
Yes. So
Income and expenses.
Yeah. So for income, you don't want to put this in as revenue. That's number one, because it's not revenue. It's considered other income, right? And if you received a loan, it's not income or income at all. Okay. So you want to talk to a professional before you kind of post that to your financials. But that should be coded as COVID in your income statement, COVID. And then for any expenses, I've been telling clients to kind of mark that, because we don't know what the report, well, we do know, but some people that receive grants, they may have to show how they spent the funds. And so it's just easier if you've already tracked and marked what was COVID and what was not, you know what I mean? So that you can easily report that. If you got PPP money, of course, you have to show your payroll and you have to show that other percent for lease payments, utilities. You want to be able to show all that. And it could be a bank statement. It can be canceled checks. You know, if your accounting system is not as savvy as it should be, you know, you can break it down through your bank statement. So again, the bank statement is important.
Is with all of these expenses, is this the grants, the stimulus check, all of that? There were questions in the beginning about whether or not this was taxable income. Are these funds going to be taxed? The grants, the stimulus checks. Should people be prepared to pay taxes on this next year?
So the grants are not considered income, so those are not taxable, right? And then the PPP monies, if you got that right now, is deemed as a loan until you get that amount forgiven, okay? And that's an application process in itself. The stimulus check, the way they're doing that is when you file your 2020 taxes based off what your income is at that point, right? That credit will be applied. So if you didn't get enough in 2019 or you didn't get anything in 2019, you'll get your credit then. You get what I'm saying? So it's not going to be an additional tax. It's just included as a credit
Okay.
on the taxes.
If you guys see me looking down, I'm looking down on my computer at questions. Okay.
Oh,
That's
okay.
I'm looking down at everybody. All right. Okay. What should we have prepared as far as if there are loans that we want to apply for or grants that we need to apply for in the event that we get shut down? What basic business practices or information, schedules or papers or forms should we already just kind of have in play and already in position?
So more than likely, if another round happens, they're going to want your 2019 taxes. And if you're an independent contractor or have a business, that's going to be that Schedule C. If you're a corp, it'll be your corporate return, because that's what they're going to use to determine if you've lost income. Because if you had a net profit 2019, more times than likely you would have one now, but it's not happening because of COVID. So you want to have your tax return ready, and you want to have your year-to-date 2020 information ready as well. Right. So all the income expenses you received up until, say, right now, July 31st, and just keep doing it month to month, so that if it does happen, which I feel like it is really going to happen again, you're ready.
Yeah, I mean, that has been the statement that likely before the end of this year. That's why the conversations are happening above us that are about stimulus checks, student loans being paid back, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Now, the good thing about what I wanted to speak on too was you had a question about the second round of stimulus. I didn't speak to that. So right now it's in Senate, and they're just debating it back and forth. And the Democrats put one option in, the GOP has put their option in, and it just keeps getting skinnier and skinnier. So we don't know.
I think from what I heard, Nicole, is that even the unemployment, that's up for debate because it was thought that maybe some people were making more than they would normally make in a regular week paycheck and that they had no incentive to go back to work. Yeah. So even the unemployment on what will be received, family, is questionable right now. We just don't know. And so the goal is to be prepared as best as we can. So Nicole, that brings me to my next question. Financially, what should the average person have prepared and set aside just, on a monthly basis without a global pandemic, without a major world issue going on? What should they have in position and in place to be financially stable?
Typically, they say you should have 3 to 6 months of your, the amount of your expenses per month paid. For the most part, a lot of people at this time can't do that or haven't been able to do that, I should say. So I would say start off with a 3-month goal because that's at least a start, and then add on to it. But you want to kind of have an outlook like if everything shut down today, which a lot of people felt that hit back in March, have that savings set aside.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be 3 months today. It's just a matter of starting the process, putting money aside as you can.
Start somewhere.
Start somewhere. And I want you to note, too, that unemployment money is taxable. So please have some type of taxes withheld, because I know that's the next thing during tax time is I didn't know.
I'm telling you that. I mean, if you're saying, I think I read somewhere, and I'm not sure how accurate my numbers are here, but I thought I read that in some cases, some people were at maybe $38,000, $36,000 per month. And if that is going to be taxed, that's something that we need to prepare for.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, let me have a conversation with you as it pertains to those of us who are business owners, people who have a C Corp, a LLC, a sole proprietorship. One of the mistakes that often is made is the not paying yourself. So you end up at the end of the year with a big mess. And so what is the best way to calculate or give thought to how to pay yourself? And gig workers, this is you too. If you have a 1099, if you have a business, a company, EIN, or what have you, what's the best way to make sure that you pay yourself, because you do deserve to pay yourself? I think that we have not grasped that fully, that you deserve to pay yourself. What's the best way to make sure that we do that?
So it's based off your business structure. So like you said, if you're an LLC or a sole proprietorship, you technically can't have a salary, right? Because the business is, in IRS's eyes, the business is you. So what typically happens is owners do draws. You can take draws off the account, and that's your payment to yourself, right? The way you pay tax on that money is that it's not tax deductible. So for example, you make $1,000, you pay yourself $500. You're going to pay tax on that $1,000 because you can't deduct the $500. Whereas if you got $1,000 and you pay $500 rent, you're only going to pay tax on the $500 because you get that deduction. So that's how it works. A lot of people mistake and have a payroll for themselves and end up having to pay tax on the profit, and they're having taxes paid off that income. So that's just not the proper way to do it. So if you're in a C Corp, though, different business structure, you can have a salary and it is deductible. So it's just about understanding how your business is set up.
So take me back to what you just said about, for example, you said that if it's $1,000 and you take a draw of $500, you're still going to be taxed on the $1,000.
Correct.
But take me back to what you were saying about, but if you paid rent, then you're not taxed on that amount.
So same scenario, you make $1,000, but you take out $500 to pay your rent, right? That $500 is a deduction on your taxes. So you only pay tax on $500, the net profit.
Again, which is another reason for us to keep track of things, have a bank account, put that in the bank account, be able to show what you are taking out of the bank account so that you can make sure. I think that, because I didn't always have things together. And I think that sometimes that we get input from people who are not maybe qualified to give insight about this. This is why having a certified public accountant like Nicole is to your benefit. It is to your benefit, because I was looking at, and this doesn't have anything to do with money, but I was looking at a particular social media website where people have all like these life hacks and whatever. Everybody's trying these life hacks and all this kind of stuff. And one girl came on, she was like, all these life hacks that I've been looking at that were recommended by social media do not work. So oftentimes we're getting our money input, we're putting out a post on social media asking somebody about something, about a business, about a corp, about starting a business, about what taxes need to happen. And fam, if they're not an expert, they really don't know. So I don't know about you, but I don't have time to play games with my money.
Yeah.
So get a certified public account. Okay, let's talk about deductions as it pertains to being in business during the pandemic. What are best practices there?
So my expectation is that a lot of people will be utilizing the home office deduction for
Mhm.
2020. Everybody's working at home. And so how that works is, so I'm waiting to find out because right now, let me back up right now, under the new tax code, employee expenses are not deductible. They took that off the itemized deduction list. But with this situation, I'm waiting to find out if Congress is going to allow employee deductions to come back. And what that means is, like, if you work for your job and you work at home, you can do a home office deduction where you can write off a percentage of your utilities, upkeep of your home, but it's a ratio of the square footage of your office space to the square footage of your house. And you take that percentage, you can write it off. So I know a lot of people are going to be using that. So you want to track your expenses for working at home. And then you also want to look at use of your vehicle. Right. I don't expect mileage to be a big thing because everybody's working at home, but the actual use of your car. So that would be gas receipts. That would be upkeep of your car. You can write a percentage of that off based off your business usage percentage, like 60-40, 70-30 for personal and business. And then cell phone usage. I see a big, huge amount of that too, because everybody's on their cell phone now. So it's just those things that are making people use their personal equipment for business purposes. So you want to track all that. I see those as being huge write-offs.
And so is that what you just described? Is that for the person who works for another company and is working from home? Or is that also for the normal business owner who their business is working from home?
It's for both.
Difference? Okay.
It's for both. Right now, I'm saying track the employee as well, because I expect that something will come down the pipeline for those to be deducted as well. But for businesses as well, definitely you want to track your home office use, because you had an office space. Like myself, I had an office space, but I had to move my practice home during COVID because they shut down. So of course, I'm going to write off my home office space for working at home. So yes, for business people as well.
I mean, this is giving us preparation for 2021.
Mm-hmm.
We normally have a certain deadline in the following year where we can file our taxes. But because of all that has gone on, what are you saying are the best practices for us to begin filing our taxes for 2020?
I would start early, right? I would say a lot of people wait until like March, middle of April to kind of file. I would say file early just to kind of get in that system, especially if you're getting a refund, because right now I don't imagine them being like up to full speed by January. I just don't. I think there's still going to be backlag trying to get stimulus checks done, whatever happens in Congress for the second stimulus. So I would say January to February, try to get it in.
Yeah. In this particular scenario, family, waiting until the last minute to file taxes, I don't think that's going to be a good idea this time around. Not even with an extension. We're seeing how long it's taking for stimulus checks to get to people right now. She mentioned that we could be into October. Yeah. So imagine if you wait until the last minute to file your taxes and we find ourselves in the midst of another major situation. We just don't know. So these are best practices. What are some of the softwares that you think that people should use? And should those softwares be mixed with business and personal to keep track of our expenses, keep track of money?
So they should definitely be separate. Business and personal should be separate. But for personal, I recommend Quicken, if you just want to track your income and what you expend out. But for business, a lot of my clients use online QuickBooks. There's FreshBooks. A lot of them are mobile friendly, and clients love that. So I would say QuickBooks, FreshBooks. Wave is free, WAVE. That's a free application that's online. And all three of these, your accountant can tap into and kind of overlook your records and make adjustments as needed and help prepare you for tax time too, which is key.
Okay. What about what reason would a person want to have their accountant come in throughout the year and be able to look at their books electronically? Because in most cases, I think that most assume that is not a conversation that you're having until you're ready to file your taxes. What's the benefit of having your accountant go in throughout the year and look at what your finances look like?
This is nothing against business owners, but y'all be putting stuff everywhere. Okay. Okay. I have some quarterly clients that I just go into, kind of just make adjustments. It's just you want to. I will say you just want an eye from a professional to kind of overlook things to make sure it's appropriate. I'll say it that way.
Yeah.
Because you don't have time. I'll put it like that. You don't have time. You're running your businesses. You're doing that. Accounting is the last thing you're thinking about. So let somebody look at it. Just let somebody look at it.
Okay, let's talk about receipts.
Yeah.
Do we keep bags of paper receipts? Is there a better way, and how long do we need to keep them?
So if you're using your bank statement, okay, so you have the debit expenses coming out or you have auto pay coming out and you have that as a third party source to show that payment, I'm not going to say throw away the receipts, but you don't have to bring those receipts to your tax preparer, okay? Because we can just use the bank statement. Cash items that will not show up on the bank statement, though, you want to keep those receipts to get that deduction because we won't know they exist because they won't be on the bank statement. Okay, especially if you're paying people out of pocket to work for you, independent contractors. I can't tell you how many times. Oh, I gave them $60. I gave them $100. Well, I don't have anything to, know that to give you that deduction. So you miss out on a lot when you don't keep track of those cash receipts.
And with the receipts, how long, how many years, months, or what have you, should those be kept?
So typically I tell clients 7 years. So with that tax statement, you want to keep I give clients their originals back and to keep it all in the same area in case an audit occurs or you need it for any type of purpose. So 7 years.
So we got to keep big garbage bags full of receipts.
Well, not garbage bags. Some people use the scan. Like I was saying, for QuickBooks, you can take pictures of stuff, or Fresh, you can take pictures and then it says upload it and you can throw the receipt away. A lot of people are shifting to paperless.
I'm about to shift to paperless.
Yeah, it's a good thing because you just want to be able to prove your expenses if it's ever questioned.
Yeah. And if you need to make a return, then you have that. And now they have, when you make purchases, that you can even have your receipt emailed to you.
Yeah.
So you can
if
always
you have
have
a
it
good
right
accountant who's doing your taxes, you won't get audited. Just saying.
Okay. Listen, look,
Nicole.
Okay, right. Family, y'all need to call Nicole. You need to call Nicole. Okay, Kirkland-Freeman. She does not need to live in your state. She can have a conversation with you via Zoom and get all of your paperwork, all of your taxes, all of your information together so that you can be on point for 2020 and beyond. I have heard way too many conversations this year in the midst of COVID of people who missed out because things were not in perspective. And I told you guys at the beginning, very transparently, I had to take a snapshot of my own stuff and make sure everything was on point. And, so it is a process, but you start somewhere. Nicole, tell everybody how they can call you, how they can email you, how they can inbox you, because you guys need to set up a consultation. You guys need to go ahead and give her a call. She's amazing. She's the best at it.
I appreciate you. So the phone number to reach me is 586-296-0771. And you can also email at nkirkland@bythenumbers, that's with a Z, CPA.com. So bythenumbers, CPA.com.
Guys, I'm going to make sure that when this is over, that her information is in the description box of this video so that you can contact her. And if you, we'll put the newsletter link in there also so you can connect to that every time that we do a Money Monday. I'm going to do them through the month of August, maybe beyond, but I just thought that August was a good time to get us prepared for the last quarter of the year. So give Nicole a call. You won't be disappointed. I mean, I'm just learning, Nicole. I'm learning as time goes on and as I've made certain mistakes or whatever with business or money or finance or what have you. It saves me a lot of time, stress, and energy to just have a professional who knows what they're doing. The money that you're paying for the professional to look over your stuff or make sure everything is straight is way less than you be paying to have a big issue because you didn't reach out. And that's across the board, from money to media to whatever the case may be. So she's an amazing professional, very, very solid at what she does, and an expert. And that is what you need on your team right now. Nicole, always a pleasure with you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today on Everyday Nietzsche. All right, guys, I hope that, did you guys enjoy that? If you did, I want you to make sure you say something in the comments or inbox me or email me or say something. Let me know if these Money Monday videos are helping you out, if you're gaining any insight or what have you. Let me know, okay, so that we know whether or not we're going to continue this into September. We've done, this is probably our second or third one for the month of August. We'll be back again. I may do one more next week because we'll be into September. may do one more. Okay. I think I'm going to do one more, but that may be it. All right. Make sure you guys go to www.nietzsche.com. I told you guys about the t-shirt when we first came on. You're going to see me in this shirt multiple times over the next 2 or 3 months. Why? Because I designed it, I created it, and that's what bosses do. We rep our brand. Okay. You guys are amazing. You bought out our entire recent stash. And so we've upped that stash, and now we've added some more colors, navy blue, pink. We added black. And then there's another surprise color that we might throw in there. But I just want to tell you guys, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for your support of this new t-shirt brand. You know, I'm a clothing designer. And so when the Lord gave me this idea to move into this t-shirt vein, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What we talking about here? This is not what I do. This is not what I understand. This is not what I breathe. I breathe creating clothing and vibrant colors and putting things together and the sewing machine and, you know, all of that. And so it's definitely been a journey, but you all, your support, you know, is just warm and fuzzy, and I appreciate it. If you don't already have your t-shirt, you can go to www.nietzsche.com and we'll get it shipped out to you. It's a great way to rep your faith. You know what I'm saying? Be bold about it. We make no apologies. You know, we serious about our faith. We solid. You know what I'm saying? I want to thank you guys again, as always, for hanging out with me on Everyday Nietzsche and, of course, on I'm a Boss. All right. Thank you guys so much. And we'll see you soon.